we're able to travel. We're actually planning a trip to go back to Africa. And just one of these properties I'm gonna show you guys will allow you to do that. Just one of these. So these are my favorite properties. These are my ideal properties for, living in or rentals. And for me, I like to do both. I like to combine both. I like to live in the rental so that I can live for free and make money off the other side. So this is my What's good, YouTube? Brother Derek here with another video. I hope everybody is doing well. Hope you're staying encouraged. Hope you guys are staying motivated. We have a lot going on in the U.S. right now, especially if you live in the U.S. currently. You guys are experiencing ups and downs and everything that's currently going on, and we just keep getting different information going on with our president. So I just want you guys to stay encouraged, stay focused. Hope you guys are being healthy and just doing all the right thing to take care of yourself because we're in uncertain times. But I want you guys to know that everything always works itself out, especially if you pray to the Most High and you have faith and belief that things will work out, but you have to do something on your end to make sure that you are putting yourself and your family in the best position to be okay and for things to be worked out. Because if you don't do anything, if you don't make any changes, if you don't make any investments on yourself and in things that will grow in value, things won't change for you. So I just want to say that. But I wanted to make this video for you guys because I wanted to give you guys some game on my ideal property. I wanted to show you guys my favorite type of property, properties that help me get to where I am, where, me and my wife are living for free. We don't pay rent. We're able to travel. We're actually planning a trip to go back to Africa. And just one of these properties I'm gonna show you guys will allow you to do that. Just one of these. So these are my favorite properties. These are my ideal properties for, living in or rentals. And for me, I like to do both. I like to combine both. I like to live in the rental so that I can live for free and make money off the other side. So this is my ideal property. So hopefully you can see my screen. Let me make this bigger. Okay. So this is my ideal property, y'all. I love duplexes, but not just regular duplexes because they're different size duplexes. There's two and twos, three and threes. I don't think I ever seen a four and four, and then you can also get 3 units, 4 units, but I never was able to get one of those, so I started with a duplex. But I love these type of properties right here. Like if I was getting started in real estate all over again, just from scratch, I would start just like this, and this is how I started 8 years ago, as I would buy a 3 and 3 duplex. So a 3 and 3 duplex is a duplex with 3 bedrooms on each side. So it's two houses. So you got one unit, bam, another unit here, bam. And each side has 3 bedrooms. So you got, if you have 1 or 2 kids, you can still get your family, comfortably in the house. If you have a wife, you don't have to worry about, you know, losing space and size. And why I love these type of duplexes because they're separate. So they're not an up and down per se, as far as like there's no one living above you. Usually you have your own upstairs and downstairs. You have your own attic, you have your own basement. So that's why I love these for investments. And when I say investments, I mean also for living in them because you will comfortably have a house where you don't really have to deal with the other side that much. And it'll make you maximum income because most people have at least 1 or 2 kids. Unfortunately, it's sometimes even more. And I don't want to say it in a bad way, but in the city that I live in, a lot of people have a lot of kids and they're trying to put a lot of kids into these small apartments. But I feel like a 3 and 3 is the best way for you to maximize your rental income as well as be comfortable if you're living in the investment. So, um, so let me show you guys about it. So, like I said, it's 3 bedrooms on each side. So I know it says six, but that's six in total because you're looking at the entire unit as a whole. So you get 6 bedrooms, but it's 3 bedrooms on each side. And unfortunately, there is only one bathroom per side. So if y'all want, or if you're used to having two bathrooms, you're gonna have to thug it out a little bit. But I'm telling you, it's worth it when you do this, especially if this is your first house, your first property. If you're buying your first home, this is the best way to start. And this is, like I said, I can't say it enough. This is my ideal property. Like, if I could have bought a bunch of these, I would have just bought several of them, but I was only able to get one starting out, and then we got single family homes, which are good as well. So let's look at all the pictures. And this is just in my current city in Rochester, New York. Now, these might look different in other cities because I know some of y'all are watching from, Chicago, Atlanta, or wherever you might even be in the continent. So you might not even have duplexes, you have apartments. And I'm going to talk about that as well, how you can invest in other places that may not have duplexes. But typically they're similar to this, or they have the same concept where you got, one house in total. And I didn't even know this house has a metal roof, which is even better. So you got, one side. This is the entrance to this side. This is the entrance, I think, on that side for the other one. And I love these type of properties because they give you privacy. You don't really always feel like you're necessarily living in a duplex because you have your own separate everything. So you're coming in, you got unfortunately you have to share the driveway in some cases, but you have your own door to get into your own unit. And you're not really gonna deal with tenants that much. You will see them in passing, but in these situations, this property is, you really don't have to deal with them. You might hear something maybe, but I'm just telling you, this is the best way to go. So this property is pretty well maintained. Um, they put some nice floor in it, updated some light fixtures, and that's what I always tell people that, are getting into real estate for the first time, or even if they're already in the real estate game and they're buying properties, always update your light fixtures, your outlets, light switches. That way everything looks new. It is new and everything works. Because I have people and I know people that buy properties and they just don't do anything to them. I bought it, I spent 60, I bought it, I moved somebody in, and then they're constantly calling people to come fix on the property. That's not something you want to do. You want to make sure that you do those things up front. That way they save you after because you don't want to keep putting money out. You just, and in our program, we show you guys exactly, how to do that and our process. But I'm giving you some of the game right now for free is we update them pretty much from the beginning. Like we fix everything up front. That way that way it's more passive. We don't have service calls and issues and leaks. Everything is updated, everything is new, everything that is an issue has been addressed. So we recommend that going forward. And it looks like whoever had this property, they did that. So, and it has its own upstairs. So that door that you guys saw, that takes you right in to your own separate unit. You don't have to, there's nobody living upstairs from you or downstairs from you. This is your entire unit to yourself. So they updated the floors, the kitchen looks pretty good. A little bit on the small side. Yeah, it's not the best kitchen, I'm not gonna lie, but you can update that. But either way, it's still for a first property, I would take it. Like I would, and even now at this point in the game, I would take it right now. Look like they updated the hot water tank. Basement is, it's a basement, but you have looks like they have their own basement. They got their own furnace. So these look like these are pretty new. So, this is the ideal way to get started. I mean, of course, if you can get a 3 unit or get a 4 unit, that way you get more bang for your buck on your first property, but you might not be ready to start out like that because some people, aren't ready to have multiple tenants because once you get, 3 unit, 4 unit, you have more tenants that you have to deal with versus a duplex, you just got one person if you're living in the duplex. And that allows you, and that's the thing about this, y'all. This allows you to fill it out to see if it's a good fit for you because you might not want to be a landlord. You might not like it. You might not, want to get those calls for minor things, and that's okay. It's each his own, but at least you're able to find that out. But there's also ways around that because you can hire somebody to do those things. So when they call you, you can have somebody, you know, come out and do those things, or you can even have them call a property manager and they can take care of those repairs for you. So it's different ways to do it. So I don't want you guys to or people that are feeling like, I don't want to deal with this and I don't want to have to deal with that, you have options. You don't have to feel like you're kind of stuck because you're not stuck. There's other ways to get it done. So yeah, this property is a nice starter property. Like I said, it has its own attic. Um, Bedroom is, typical, typical bedroom. That's a big bathroom. I don't see the vanity. Yeah, that's a nice sized bathroom, and that's what I'm telling y'all. For a duplex, this is a good house to start with. You get an actual nice sized house that you'll be living for free, and I'll go over that in a minute, like the prices and all that, and a breakdown and everything like that. But this is a good place to start. You get your own porch. Each side has its own porch. I guess that's the garage. It looks a little rough, but I mean it's extra storage space. So I mean it's all about what you want to do and how you want to get started. But this is how I will get started, and it looks like uh so both sides come occupied. But the good thing about that is when you move in, you can decide based on the leases, where you want to start because one lease might be ending in a month and one lease might be ending in 3 months. So if you want to live in the other side, you just have to wait. You have to honor their leases in my state, in New York State, you have to honor their leases. So you can't just kick them out once you buy the property, but some people will gladly move. But yeah, so you have options, but and like I said, this is a mirror image. So usually when you buy a duplex a side by side, like the ones that I like this, like these, you have the exact same side. Sorry. When you buy these properties like these, they mirror each other. So you'll have whatever's on one side will be on the other side. It'll just maybe be opposite. So they have the same exact layout. It just might be done differently. So they got a different type of kitchen. This one doesn't look as updated, but you can update it as you see fit. But I will tell you the better updates you do, the more rent you can command. So I recommend you guys, if you're gonna do this, make sure that, when you can, because it's hard to update a unit when you got a tenant in there, but once that tenant moves out, put some money into it, update it, put a nice kitchen in there, get the nice flooring, kind of treat it how you would want to live. Like make it to you would live in it, but on a budget. Like don't go crazy. Don't put all this fancy, expensive flooring and top of the line appliances because this is gonna be a rental. So stuff is gonna get broken. People are not gonna take care of it the way you will. But I just recommend that you at least put nice stuff in there so you can attract quality people because you want quality people that will allow you to command a decent or high rent depending on your area. So this spot, this side actually does need a couple things. That furnace needs to be replaced. But and the other thing I'm going to make a video about is grants. And I want to talk to you guys about grants. Now that I see this, there are grants going on right now where you can get this furnace replaced for free or for like 10% of the total cost of the replacement. So let's say a new furnace costs $5,000. Whatever 10% of that is, you pay that and you can get a new furnace, or you can even get a brand new furnace for free based on your tenant's income. So if your tenant is low income or their income falls between, let's say, under 50,000 a year, they can qualify for free things, y'all. Like that's the other hack that a lot of people don't know about is that you can leverage your tenant's income not only to help pay your pay the mortgage to your property that you're living in, you can also leverage their income to get upgrades to your property. I know it's crazy. It, and we're getting a house sited right now. Right now, based on our tenant's income, we're able to get a house sited for the total cost of the siding is $36,000. We only have to pay $4,000. And that's only because the tenant's income falls under the threshold for the grant program. So not only is the tenant paying a rent and they're paying enough rent where we're making money off the house or we wouldn't own the house, we're also using that tenant's same income to qualify for the house to get sided, and it's going to get a new furnace, hot water tank. And these are all things that we would have to pay in full if the tenant didn't qualify, or if we didn't rent the property. You know, we wouldn't even have this opportunity to make this money and get our property upgraded, which will then increase the property's value, y'all. Come on. Come on. Like, this is the game. This is just one part of the game. There's so many different things I want to show y'all and tell y'all, but I got to lay it on y'all a little bit at a time because I don't want to overwhelm y'all. But that's just a few ways that you can leverage real estate, your tenant's income, to build your wealth, to help make you money, to help, make your property better, which then serves them better because they'll be more comfortable. It makes the house look better. It's just so many different ways that you can play this game that it could benefit you if you know what you're doing and you know how to do it. So, like I said, there's programs where you can get this stuff fixed for free or 10% down, and you can even get glass block windows put in. So there's programs for that. So I don't want you guys, when you guys are looking at houses and you see things that like, oh, that furnace is old, that's going to cost a lot of money, or this is old, this is going to cost a lot of money. I'll start that over. So I don't want you guys to feel like when you see a property and you really like the property, but it needs a couple things, like it might need some siding, or it might need a new furnace, or it might need some new windows. Depending on your city and state, you don't have to necessarily worry about those things. Yes, they are big ticket items, but there's grant money out there, and I'll show you guys how to find that grant money so that you can use it to upgrade your property. But you don't have to worry about that per se. It is something that needs to get addressed. I'm not gonna lie to you and say just go ahead and buy it, but just know that there are ways that you can get these things done for free or to little, for little to nothing, you know, and it'll still allow you to make money, make the property worth more once it's done, and you can do it again. It's not a one-time thing. Like, as long as the grant money, these grants have money, they give it to landlords to help fix up their property. So if somebody's gonna give you $10,000 to make improvements to your property, you're not gonna fill out paperwork to do that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so it's free money out there, y'all. But this is a solid property to start out with. And let's see if it tells us how much is renting for. Back to listing. Um, so they want you to buy this property in a package. They might sell it individually, so that's something that you might have to work out when you see houses or situations like this. But um, it doesn't have the rent prices, but just based on the area, I know this 3 bedroom can rent for at least 1,300, between 13 and 1,400 per side, especially when it's 100% updated. So it says the estimate payment, and that's mortgage payment, is $1,000. I think it'd be more like $1,300. I feel like this is a little bit off, but even if it's 1,300, like I told y'all, you can lease rent each side for $1,300. So if you can rent one side out for 1,300 or even $1,400, you can make $0 to $100, but your rent is covered, or your mortgage is covered, I should say, because your tenant is gonna pay that. You're living for free. So that's just off of one property. Now, say a lot of people, and I don't blame y'all, because me and my wife are looking at investing out the country. So let's say you want to move out the country, you can then just rent out the other side and then you'll have an additional $1,300 to then use. And depending on where you go, there's a lot of cheap places that can cover you to live there. You don't need a lot of money to live in other countries. A lot of countries are not as expensive as the US to live in. So just one of these can get you over there comfortably wherever it is. And if you're still working your job or whatever you're doing, save up your money. You can pay for whatever you need to your flights or whatever, and then you can just use this property to take care of you while you're there. So I'm telling y'all, this one of these can get you situated. One of these properties can get you in a good place. And bam, so you live in one side, run out one side, and then let's say you want to finally get a single family house. This side can pay for your single family house. So this side will pay for the property itself. And this side can pay for the property that you move into. So, and then you could just, and I've heard different people say you can move into another duplex. I haven't done it, so I don't know for sure. But let's say you find a better duplex. Maybe you can then, you know, live in another duplex that might be a little bigger, or maybe you don't need the space and you get a smaller duplex. You can then use this duplex and then pocket that money and then get another duplex and then do the same thing again. So there's so many different ways you can do this. Now, I know some people are gonna be like, yo, D, I already got a single family house. What do I do then? So the same thing as far as still buy the duplex. I wouldn't tell you to move in it because you already live in a single family house. So buy a duplex or even a single family, another single family, rent it out and make sure you get it at the right price. And when I say the right price, I don't want you to overpay for the property. Make sure that the property, the rent can cover the mortgage. And a lot of people are buying these properties that are like $200,000 and $300,000, and then their mortgages are like $2,000, and they can only rent it for like $2,000 or $2,200. So they're only making $200, and that's off the entire property being rented as a whole. That's not a good deal. That's not a good deal. You at least want to make, for me, I want to at least make $500 to $700 on a property minimum. Like for everything that you got to do, it's not a lot of stuff, but you have to put down payments down. You have to, take care of maintenance. You have to do repairs. You have to find and vet tenants. And those things take time. So you don't want to do all those things. And if you use our system, we're going to show you how to do them the right way. You don't want to do all those things just to make $200. If it's your first property and you're living in it, okay, because you're not paying a mortgage. So, that weighs itself out. But if you are already living in a property and you are trying to make, this property as an investment property, like you're already living somewhere outside of it, you're not living in the property, you need to be making at least $500 to $700, or it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time because on top of that, you got to pay taxes on that money. Now, of course, you want to write off as much as you can, but the idea is to be making money. And I don't want you guys to do all this work because I've seen people on YouTube talking about you can make $200 off a property, and that's a good deal, and that's not a good deal. I know people that have several properties that are not make that are making $200 and $300 off a property, and that's not good. Me and my wife have 7 properties, and we're grossing almost at least $7,000. So I don't. So that same person could have 7 properties and be grossing $1,400. That's not enough money. That's not enough money. It doesn't make sense. And I'm showing you guys all this stuff because I want you guys to get deals that make sense. A lot of people are getting in real estate because it's sexy, or they heard about it on YouTube, or they heard about it on Instagram, or they heard a friend got this property, and it's cool. And I get it. It is cool to be in real estate. It feels good to own that property. It feels good to drive by and be like, yeah, that's me. I own that piece right there. But it feels better to know that you making money off it. It's able to take care of some bills or get you out of a job that you hate, or it's able to allow you to travel and go to different places, or even allows you to invest in other countries and do other things that you want to do. That's what's really cool. That's what you should be doing it for, not as a status symbol, not to post on Instagram and be like, I own this house, I own this house, but you ain't making no money. You losing money. You don't want to get in this business to lose money, because you're working for free at that point, or you working, for the property. And the property, your house is your property, your assets should be working for you at all times. But I went a little tangent on that, my bad. So what I suggest, somebody that already has a house is just to, unfortunately, you can't get any of the benefits that you can when you're a first-time home buyer like me, or like somebody that I would tell to move into this house and live in it. You can't be a first-time home buyer again if you already own a home, from my knowledge, that I know of. So if you already own a property, a single family house or whatever it is, you got to just save the 20%, and put that 20% down on this property. So let's get the calculator out real quick. This house is 150. You might even be able to get it down. You never know. Times 20%. So you got to come up with 30 G's. That is a lot of money. That's why I tell people if you can, live in the duplex, live in the investment. That way, that 30,000, because I put 5% on my first property. So 5%. Oops, my bad. 150 times 5%. See the difference? That's $7,500. That's a lot better for me. And I'm sure for y'all, whoever wants to buy this property, you rather put the $7,500 versus the 30, and that 30 doesn't include, closing costs. That's just the 20% down payment that you got to get them to put down on the house. But either way, even if you got to put 30 down, you will make that money back because here's the math on that. So you each side, let's say, is renting for $1,400, and we're gonna multiply that times 2. That's $2,800 a month that you're making off the property, but you have a mortgage on this house, so we got to subtract. Let's say the mortgage is $1,300. So you're making $1,500 off this property each month. So let's go 30,000 divided by 1,500. It take you 20 months to make your money back. So almost 2 years. I think that's a good deal, y'all. In my opinion, you'll get your down payment money back in 2 years. And not only that, you have a property that has grown in value. Because in those 2 years, I'm pretty sure this 150, this house would probably be worth 200,000, maybe 185. So you'll make your money back in 20 months for that down payment. And not only that, you'll have a property that's worth 100. Who knows? It might be worth 200,000. But either way, if you decide like, yo, D, I did it. I did your program. I got the rental property. It ain't for me, bro. I'm out. I don't want to do it. I'll be like, all right, I get you. I understand. I feel you. It's not for everybody. Sell the house. You made 50,000, and you probably, if you have it for at least 20 months, you made your down payment money back, and you made some money off the house. And you could then put in the stocks or put in the cryptocurrency or something else. But at least you have options. And that's what I love about real estate. It gives you options. You're not just stuck to one thing or one thing or one thing. You can do a couple things. And if you can actually, and that's just one way. Because you can rent this, you can make one side of Airbnb. You don't gotta do the long-term tenant like me. I do long-term because I like to rent it out and forget it. Like I fix it up, make sure everything is working, everything is good. There's a good, better, best in materials when it comes to property. I like to go better. I don't do the best because I know people ain't gonna take care of it. I'm not gonna do the good because I don't want to put the lowest quality stuff in there. So I want to put the better in there, the middle ground. That way I know it's quality stuff. It's really good. It's not the best, it's not the lowest. And I know it'll hold up. It'll serve its value and it'll hold up for me. And it's quality material and it'll hold up. A lot of people do nothing or do the bare bones. So, you know, that's just something I recommend for you guys. So this is the type of property I would recommend anybody 100 times over. Like this is how you get started. But if you're already in the game, you already own a property, buy this, rent each side out. You'll make your money back, and you can even use that one side to pay your mortgage where you're living now. So you're still living for free doing this method. You still get to save that rent, that mortgage money that you got to pay every month. This property will pay your mortgage depending on how much it is, and then you can then use that money to save up and do something else with. So there's so many different ways you can do this. So hopefully I gave y'all some good game. I'm gonna keep putting on these videos to really get y'all, get your mindsets right. Because I remember years ago when I was getting started in real estate, and I knew I wanted to do this, but I was just nervous. I know a lot of y'all might be nervous. You might not know, where to start, how to get started, and I just want to get you guys motivated and know that you can do it. You can do this. It's not that hard. It does require you to do a lot of things right. You have to know what you're doing. But if you don't, you'll figure it out. You can read some books, you can take our program, watch my content. But the only way to get in the game is to get in the game. A lot of people just sitting on the side waiting, like, man, the interest rates are too high, man. Properties are too high, man. I just ain't got the down payment, man. My credit. Just take care of your business, come up with a plan, lock in, get it done because they're not making more properties. They're not making more land. I mean, they are making more property, like they're building more properties, but that's not the way that I recommend you get in. And also, the time is now, y'all. The time to do this is now. Like, the good thing about everything going on is that, from what I've been seeing, a lot of houses are staying on the market longer, and there's a lot less buyers in the market. So you have more options. Before it was just like things were just flying off the market. I think this house right here has been on the market for 34 days. If this was like a year or two ago, this thing would have already been pending. So the opportunities is now. I don't know how long we're gonna have this time where we can buy these properties and they just be sitting for so long because people don't really have the funds. Everybody, a lot of people are struggling right now. People are losing their jobs. So I want you guys to get in a position where you don't have to worry about losing the job. Or if you do lose a job, you got something helping you cover your bills, and you got something that's helping you make extra money so that while you figure out your next move, you okay, you comfortable, you got rental income coming in. You're not dependent on that job because so many people are getting fired, jobs are cutting employees. It's so much going on. I don't want you guys to be in this jam because a lot of people are getting jammed up out here and we're just living in a lot of uncertainty. So right now our program is 90% off. I don't know how long it's gonna be this cheap. Me and my wife gonna have to talk about it because we just really trying to get as many people as we can to get this game so you guys can take advantage of this opportunity that we have now because the people that miss out, like you're not gonna have too many more opportunities to get in this game. Prices are going to keep going up. Like this isn't gonna stop. Like prices been going up since we got in the game. More people are starting to, learn about real estate and want to get invested. And you got people from other countries and other cities and other states, investing like people from California where their properties are $1 million. They're just trying to get something. So, I don't know how long these opportunities are gonna be here. So you guys need to get into the game now. Stop being scared. Stop waiting and sitting on the sidelines where other people are making money and getting wealthy off of rental property and just being in real estate itself. So I hope you guys, got some game. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next video. I'm out, y'all. Peace.